this isn't the point I wanted to bring up on this UFO UAP thing. As big a news as that is, right? As big of news as that is. Let's talk about the last time this was supposed to happen. So the last time this was supposed to happen, they went down to meet with these guys from the Pentagon, and the congressional leaders were blocked. They got the people that were leading the committee got down there, and the Pentagon said, "Nah, just kidding. We'll have the hearing, but you can't sit in on it. We're gonna conduct it and run it ourselves." You know how crazy that is? How crazy that is. Like, imagine if you were, like, Aaron Hernandez, perfect example. Imagine if Aaron Hernandez's lawyer turned to the detectives and went, "You know what? I'm going to interrogate my client. You guys don't get to sit in on it, and whatever I tell you is the evidence you have to use in court." Okay, cool? All right, bet. That's how stupid this is. Like, this is a joke at this point. This is something out of a corny 80s sci-fi movie. You know what they're doing is this is a Streisand effect. This is a Streisand effect here, where you try to cover something up, and because of your efforts to make something disappear, people actually start paying attention to it and looking into it. It's very, very obvious after what happened in that hearing, which that's what needs to go viral, and it isn't. Not to the degree that the alien beings being found isn't, and that, again, that is big news. But that's what needs to go viral. That they wanted, the Pentagon officials wanted to direct their own hearing and kick the elected representatives out. These unelected bureaucrats were going to direct their own hearing and question themselves. They probably just sat in there and screwed around. Like, they probably had beers cracked at a little cookout, something like that. Hey, why are they bringing a 12-pack of Coors Light and some cheeseburgers into the room? What's going on here? Like, it's very, very obvious that you're hiding something, because people who aren't hiding something don't act the way they are. Anyone who was anyone who was on the fence about this UFO thing just went, okay, yeah, they're hiding something at that news. They may not be fully convinced it was aliens, but to hear that they kicked the congressional leaders out and said, hey, we're going to investigate ourselves. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're lying about something. There's something we're not supposed to know there. And that's the thing, is you always hear people on the left accuse, like, Donald Trump or conservative talk hosts and personalities of intentionally trying to, quote unquote, derail the trust in our institutions. Excuse me? You guys don't get this. We don't have to derail the trust in our institutions because they do a great job at that themselves. I mean, think about this with Hunter Biden, and we're going to get into that later, right? The CDC and Fauci lying through their teeth. The intelligence agencies, it comes out that they've been, conspiring with media companies and tech companies to censor information that might hurt their agenda. They derail the trust in them themselves. We don't have to do that. They do that themselves. They don't need our help. And then the worst part is when they get caught lying to Congress or in court, the quote-unquote institution, the Department of Justice, the FBI, whoever that may be, that's actually supposed to enforce the laws that they just broke, lets them off spot-free. We're not going to press charges. I don't want to see anything bad happen to them. But I guarantee if you did anything close to what any of these people have done, you'd be put away in a heartbeat. Because that's the thing, man. Trust is earned, okay? We don't owe our institutions any trust. None. Zip, zilch, zero. Nada. We don't owe them any of our trust. They have to earn our trust. I'm going to ask you right now. Let me know in the comments on Rumble. Maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a kook. Get on outlawstreamers.com. Get a hold of me. Email me there. I'm going to ask you a real simple question. What has the CIA done in your lifetime to earn your trust? Let me know. What have they done? What has the CIA done that's made you go, that's a trustworthy organization there? I'm going to put my full faith in them and their actions and their intentions. Other than kill Kennedy, what have they done? Trust is earned. And hijacking a meeting with elected representatives while locking them out doesn't exactly do a lot to earn our trust. And the problem with this is that the blue-pilled losers out there, the 65-year-old lifelong Democrats that sit on Twitter and their profile picture is their dog, which, by the way, deserves much better than them. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Mia's laughing off camera right now. They will still side with the Pentagon. And they will still call me a dangerous conspiracy theorist. Well, the Pentagon doesn't owe the elected representatives and the American people any explanation. Yes, they do, bitch! Yes, they do! They'll call me the dangerous conspiracy theorist, as if me speculating that, hey, maybe it's a little weird, they kicked the Congress members out and said, we're going to conduct our own hearing. You're not allowed to see anything. You don't have clearance to see any of this stuff, even though we told you you'd come down here and look at it. As if me questioning that is somehow more dangerous than the secret groups that control this country having an active disdain for you and your family. Because that's what it really boils down to, and that's going to be a common theme in this episode, is rules for me, or rules for thee and not for me. They do. They see themselves as above you. They can do whatever the hell they want because they don't answer to anyone. Because we have put a lot of people, that's what we talk about when we say the regime on this show. We have put a lot of people in a lot of positions of power that do not answer to anyone. Yeah, we can try to elect people that'll fire them if they don't do their job, but when we elect those people, they take a convertible ride in Dallas. So it's not like it matters. This isn't even about aliens at this point. It's about a lack of regard for you. They know they're breaking the law. They know you know. Then they just simply don't care because they think they're above us. They see us as degenerate trash, second-class citizens, and eventual slaves. Like, this is further proof. Because in a just society, where these people, and I understand we can't elect our military, I understand that. But in a just society, where the Pentagon and the defense contractors and the intelligence agencies actually answer to we the people, they actually answer to the people that write their paychecks. In a just society, they wouldn't be able to kick out the people that represent us, that we've elected to represent us, when they have questions about what they're doing. The level of arrogance behind that knows no bounds. And it's just further proof, man. There is a group of people that controls this country, not the Jews, and answers to no one. And I see all the time they claim that it's a national security risk. It's a national security. No one believes that. No one believes that it's a national security risk at this point if you say you have a flying saucer. No one cares. I saw the other thing. They said it could be craft that belongs to Russia or China, and releasing that could hurt our relations with them. Yeah, because stuff's going just swimmingly now, right? Saying, hey, we have one of your airplanes is really going to derail the great relationship we had with Russia. Sending cluster bombs to the Ukrainian government so they could use it on Russian citizens, that wouldn't sour our relationship at all. But saying, hey, we got one of your planes, World War fucking III. Also, we do that to them, and they do it to us. So what? Yeah, spy planes. If that's all it was a spy plane we shot down, so what? They're not going to care. They do it to us all the time. They also had no problem telling us about the quote-unquote Chinese balloon a few months ago. They blamed China for that, and then they shot it down. It's not about souring a relationship with Russia or China, or they wouldn't have shot that balloon down. They wouldn't have told us it was Chinese. Also, by the way, that was right around the time they were having the TikTok hearings, where they were trying to ban that, and they were trying to shape a public opinion about China. Crazy how that balloon just got released right at the same time. Isn't it wild? Isn't it wild? Every time they're trying to change the general public's opinion on something, all these quote-unquote random events that just conveniently line up with the regime's talking points just happen. Just happen right after they start pushing the issue. Like every time they're trying to push gun control, every time there's a gun bill in the Senate, some whack job goes and shoots 20 people. It's just crazy how those things line up. I don't know. So anyway, excuse me if I don't buy the national security excuse. Because you care so much about that. National security is not walking into nuclear war. Here's why they're covering it up. I don't think they're covering it up for a national security thing. I think the average person probably, at least has some suspicion that we're not alone in the universe. It's not even about any of that. It's not about, people are going to freak out. It'll cause chaos. They'll doubt their religion. Blah, 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 blah. It's not about any of that. It's an Occam's razor situation. The reason they're covering up the UFO UAP thing is simply because lying to the American people has become the standard procedure for these people. Their knee-jerk reaction is to lie. That's their first instinct. That's the first thing they do. That's the It's probably in a handbook somewhere. Lie first, then come clean 25 years later. About everything. They lie about everything. They don't tell us the truth about anything. Anything at all. That's what it is. It's not that they're worried about national security. It's not that they're worried about how the public would react to learning that aliens have visited the Earth. It's because when you lie to someone enough times, that just becomes the norm. And that's just the natural thing for you to do. That's the procedure. Lie. I'm sorry. I think people deserve to know whether or not we're alone in the universe and make a decision for themselves on how to respond. I don't think that the U.S. government can withhold that information from adults in good faith. I don't think that's the right thing to do. You should let people make the decision for themselves what they're going to do. And if someone does wig out, put them in jail. Put them in jail. I think most people are pretty well grounded and wouldn't take that seriously. They have Barbie movies to go get upset about. They're not going to freak out about aliens. No, like the average liberal, if you told him aliens were real and he got all worked up about it at first and he was freaking out, questioning his religion and his existence and all that, just give it 5 minutes. Give it 5 minutes. Some comedian will tell a joke that he doesn't like. Somebody will get misgendered. Jason Aldean will drop a new song. Something will happen that's going to piss that guy off and distract him. Same thing with the average conservative, right? Cinnamon Toast Crunch will go woke and he'll burn the factory to the ground. He's not going to care about UFOs. Like there was an episode of King of Queens where Kevin James's character, Doug, he had this dog since he was like 8 years old. And he's pushing 40. And they're going to visit his parents in Florida. And the dog is quote unquote still alive 30 years later. And it's like not just still alive, it's like it's like sprung and running around playing with him. And his wife's like, wait, that would make the dog like 30. And then they eventually it derails into his parents telling him about how they've actually had 4 different versions of this dog and they've just bought dogs that look the same. That's the same thing that they're doing to us with the aliens. This is our Rocky. That was the name of the dog in King of Queens. Like, if it really was a national security thing, they can redact things. Like, if it's truly a matter of national security. And by that, I don't mean, like, the way they do it now, where you have 95% of the document blacked out, and the only words you can make out are the and. And, I don't know, man. Sorry, you answer to us. You're a public servant. We've elected people to represent us. And you're ignoring both us and those people we've elected. It's crazy. It's not about aliens, man. It's nothing to do with aliens. It's nothing to do with national security. It's nothing to do with people wigging out and going crazy. And it's all about a group of unelected bureaucrats that can't be fired and answer to nobody needing to be held accountable. We're paying for this stuff, mind you. We're paying for the holding facility. We're paying the scientists that are analyzing these craft. We're paying their salaries. We're paying for all of it. If a private company lied this much to its shareholders about how it was spending the money, they would all go to jail. Like, we protest warrantless wiretapping by the NSA, the TSA sexually assaulting us at the airport. And every time we get upset about that, the average neocon government response is, well, if you don't have anything to hide, you don't have anything to worry about. All right, bet. Let's remove the double standard. Are we truly equal, or do you view us as lower than you? I mean, we already know the answer to that question. It was rhetorical. But isn't it time the government faces the same level of accountability that they subject everyone else to? That's my question for today. Let me know in the comments. Is it time for the government to face the same level of accountability that we have to be subjected to? Just asking. Just asking. Do you think when the aliens land, do you think they'll take John Fetterman back home with them? Do you think John's going to go back home with them?
A big, stupid, ugly ogre.
Junior bridesmaid Senator John Fetterman. The further they draw this, and I don't think that the congressman are involved in this conspiracy. The further they draw this out, the more it seems likely that they're getting some type of false flag ready, which has been my theory for months now. Some type of alien related. I think both things can coexist. I think we can have been visited by extraterrestrial life, and I think they could be getting a false flag ready. And it just makes me wonder, because they continue to draw this out, and it's I don't know, man. The time frame's looking real good for this whole thing to wrap up right around May to June of 2024, which would be right in time for the election. Something crazy to give them an excuse to either cheat or look over here, see what we're doing over here while they rig the election. I don't know. Maybe try to spark some type of chaos in the streets or push us toward a one world government, something like that. And I don't think these congressmen that are investigating it, because this is like the one bipartisan issue in Washington right now. I don't think these guys are actually involved in the conspiracy. I think that they're good. Most of them are good faith individuals. I don't think the average congressman or senator knows much more about this UFO stuff than any of us do. Not much. I think they're being goaded into this. I think they're like, oh yeah, you want to dig into this? Yeah, we'll strand you along. Because, I mean, let's be real. The intelligence agencies would much rather Congress start looking into UFOs than political persecution of Joe Biden's rivals, than what they're actually doing with this money in Ukraine. They would much rather have that. Because they can redact and they can play keep away and they can stall and waste time with that. They would much rather have that than have to answer for some of the big crimes they've committed against the American people. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.